Hello guys, welcome back, and in today's video I'm going to touch on a subject that it's getting more and more important with the progress of the game and the look at the future, okay? Nice voice crack, bozo. Now, by that, what do I mean? I mean that free-to-play life is starting to appear more and more troubled. For a free-to-play player, you can only get around 63 pulls. After the video that I made, it was clear in my mind that the future is to be taken with a big strategy. So a free-to-play player gets 63 pulls, which means that per patch you will almost, if you get soft pity and you don't get lucky early, you will get almost one trigger of 6-star. You could win the 50-50 or you could fail. So that's almost soft pity for every free-to-play, every patch. If you want to guarantee the character, because you're saving for it, then you need 2 patches and a little bit of the third patch to get to 140. So that's a long time. That is 90 days. Not 90 days, but like, yeah, it is. It's like 90 days minimum, okay? Because like every patch is 42. So I would say 90 plus days to guarantee the character as a free-to-play. Now, with that in mind, now we know that you need, you always knew, but now we know a little more what to do because of the future that we know, the characters that are coming. So this means that we have to plan. As a free-to-play, as free-to-play players, we have to plan. Actually, I shouldn't say we because I'm not free-to-play. Free-to-play players should plan ahead and try to prioritize what they need depending on your account. What you have on your account roster is going to be the key for this video. It depends on what you have and what you need. Now, if you have a lot of supports, you failed a lot of 50-50s, you have a lot of supports, but you don't have many DPSs, now you need to prioritize DPSs more. Now, if you have a lot of DPSs, but you don't really have many supports, and the ones that you have are like maybe Beacon Bloom and that's it, right? Now, and Sonetto, now maybe you should prioritize supports now, or healers. Now the Tooth Fairy is here. I'm pretty sure everybody is basically good with the healers, because you probably have Tooth Fairy and Balloon Party at this point. If you still don't have Balloon Party, then maybe you still need a healer, but maybe you have Sotheby because you're going for Jessica. If you're not going for Jessica, then you don't have Sotheby, which means you still need a healer. So in that case, Tooth Fairy, and maybe next time that you get maybe I don't know, like a Medicine Pocket rate up or a Balloon Party appearing again in a banner, maybe you can try get her. That said, you will probably be fine for a little bit by using Lasers, even though she's probably squishy at this point, right? Now, let's go check on Pridwen just to have a clear understanding. First of all, let's touch on the what are we seeing here. This is CN 1.4. It's not 1.5. We'll talk about 1.5 in another video, dedicated video. So for now, what we're gonna do is check the value of the characters that are upcoming, so that way you can understand the value of the characters, and after you understand, you check your account and see, okay, which one of these characters do I need? Do I need a healer? I just got Tooth Fairy, so I'm chilling, right? Do I need like a DPS? Okay, this, and this. Do you need a support? Then maybe I should buy this, that you should get this one. Now, what we're going to do. Starting from 37. Before we start, I just want to touch immediately about something that at this point people are calling and yelling about. Power creep. Like, yes, power creep is a thing, and it's always been a thing in every gacha if you think about it. I don't know, name me one gacha in the comments that doesn't have any power creep. That said, I don't think power creep is a problem in this game, and I don't think it is okay to say that power creep is a thing, is a problem in this game, because you can clear, if you can clear Limbo with 4 stars, then if you're having problem clearing your Limbo with your 6 stars, then it's a you problem, or it's a skill issue, or it's a build issue, or it's a character progression issue, right? Or it's a reading issue, and it's not a game issue or power creep. You're not failing to clear with your Centurion Beacon Bloom and Tooth Fairy because 6 is strong. Because six is way stronger. That doesn't mean anything, okay? Just think about it. Doesn't make sense. You're still gonna be able to clear all of the content besides mains bulletin, probably like SS and triple S, because that's like whale only. And even then, you're not missing anything. You're missing like 10 golden thoughts. I forgot how they're called. 10 golden thoughts. It's like some they're very little amount of currency, like dust and sharpodonti, so like 6k 7k each. So that said, I don't think power creep is a thing, so calm down, try to calm down. Power creep is, even if it's a thing, is not a problem for the game, because you can clear with any character. So at this point we are trying to understand the value that they have. That said, you as a free-to-play, eventually you're going to be like, yeah, okay, sure, but I want a new character now. Which one should I get between Jessica, 37, Black Dwarf, 6, and Shamane, and Spatudia, right? First of all, it depends on what role you're missing. You want to check it. Okay, so if you don't want to go for the emotions, like, oh, I like these characters, or this character is my waifu, she's super cute, I want her, right? If you're not going with that path, because that path is not rational path. We're going today in this video. We're going with the rational path. Okay, so try to bottle up your emotions and try to analyze what your account needs, because you could have all of the waifus, but you might not be able to clear limbo if you have the wrong waifus. Okay, if you have all DPSs, you're not going to be able to survive because you didn't pick up any healers, because all your waifus are either DPSs or sub DPSs. Then it becomes a problem. Okay, so you need to check your account, check what role are you missing, and sadly sometimes you're gonna have to skip characters that you might like, because there is someone else coming after that you really need. Okay, for example, if you are going for Jessica, you're not going to be able to pull for Shamane. You're not. Shamane comes right after Jessica. So you're not going to be able to get Shamane as free to play, okay? So try to disconnect your emotion and try to approach this in a more rational way. First of all, let's analyze the characters. 37, it's upcoming in 1.4, so let's check 1.3 first. Black Dwarf and Shamane. Shamane is coming first. Shamane also has Kanjira in it, which means that if you are free to play and you didn't get Sotheby, but you trying to get Jessica because you want to do the poison team, first of all, don't skip it, because getting Jessica alone, it's a problem, because she suffers. She's going to lose a lot of DPS from losing the stacks of poison. And as a free to play, you're not going to do P2. So and you might say, yeah, but I can get Kanjira on Shamane's banner. Sure, but you know how hard it is to get any 5-star on a banner, right? You know, like there's a lot of people that try to get Balloon Party on Melania banner and they didn't get any, right? I got like 1, and I pulled like 60 times and I got like 1 balloon. So you might not get Kanjira, and if you don't get Kanjira, you're completely screwed, and Jessica is going to be mid until you eventually stumble upon a rate up Sotheby. At that point, when that happens, you don't know when. It might happen in a moment when you're trying to save for someone else that you really want, and now Sotheby is there, and it's gonna mess up your pulls, because now you really need to get Sotheby to stop having mid Jessica. And which means you're not going to have enough for 2 characters, right? So you're going to have to give up on one of the 2, keep mid Jessica or get the new character, and it's going to feel really bad. So do not pull for Jessica if you don't have Sotheby, and if you're free to play, you don't have enough to get Kanjira on Shamane's banner, okay? If you want to do that, do that. But personally, I really wouldn't do that. It makes no sense in my mind, and it's extremely scary and risky for your account, okay? That said, moving on 1.3, Black Dwarf and Shamane. Shamane comes first, and after there's Black Dwarf. As a free-to-play, you're probably going to be having, if you're skipping Jessica at this point and during Shamane's banner, maybe not day 1, you will be getting to the 60-ish pulls. So you could get Shamane, but there is a problem with Shamane. It's not a problem. The thing with the kit with Shamane deals He has a debuff that it's a global, so it's like reality and mental defense shred. So it could be, it's kind of flexible. It can go everywhere, right? And it also increase the damage taken by all enemies on top of the shred of the mental death. But that's not his kit. His kit is doing damage, surprisingly. Okay, so it's not necessarily. You can use him as a support, but he really wants to play the game, right? It's not an AP friendly character. So the problem with Shamane is that he has almost all of his kit going around the Nature Blessing. For every stats down the status attacker when attacking, the damage dealt is increased by 8%. Upon entering combat, you gain 2 stacks of Nature Blessing, and then at the start of every 2 turns, you gain 1 stack of Nature Blessing. Sure, you could wait and then do your ult after a very long time, or you could approach it a little more directly and chuck in a little bit of damage with the Apprentice Dance that gives you 1 more layer of Nature Blessing. What this does is refunds, depending on the stacks that you have after you do the ult, you get refunded the Moxie that you spent with as many Moxie as you had Nature Blessing stacks. So if you get 5 stacks and then you do the ult, you get 5 stacks again refunded Moxie. You lose the Nature Blessing and you gain the Moxie, so it's gonna do the ult again. So he really wants to do a little bit of damage, which means that it's not gonna be a complete buffer, debuffer, stuff like that. It's a kind of a hybrid. You kind of want to play with him a little bit. So even if you're waiting and you're doing just the debuff, it's gonna take a little bit before you get actual 5 Nature Blessings, and it might coincide with the slow building of the Moxie since you're just doing the debuff. But that means that in a 3-man, right, in a 3-man fight, you're gonna have a lot of his cards running. Popping around that you're not going to be able to click because you don't want to use him. You want to do the main DPS because it's more hungry, right? You want to prioritize. You're gonna have like 1 or 2 or 3 of these staying there, chilling there, that you can never use it. It's going to basically block 1 card slot for you or more. So this is it's a good character, but the thing is that the portrait here are starting to be scary. Not here, but like on the future. The only thing that I kind of agree, it still doesn't change the what I said before, but the portraits are starting to be important a little bit, which was to be expected. But the portraits are starting to be a little important. They're starting to give the characters way more power, way better, smoother experience in gameplay. So keep that in mind when you're pulling for these characters. So do you want to pull for Shamane? Like, should you pull for Shamane? You should pull for Shamane if you don't want 6. You shouldn't pull for Shamane if you want 6. If you're getting 6, don't pull for Shamane because they basically share the same role, and 6 does it way better, right? So his impact is way more valuable than Shamane's impact, because you can do what Shamane does with even Diggers, okay? So, and Diggers is like B. So it's you don't really need Shamane unless you like him or you are prepared to use his cards as well, or you can use him in a 4-man. That's even better. But let's say Shamane and Black Dwarf together, I don't think they go too well because the Black Dwarf really wants to do, and let's move on to that. Black Dwarf really wants to use a lot of her planets. She has a lot of planets. You stack the planets, you stack of buffs. Depending on the planets, a different buff. So you can stack different types of planets and stuff like that. And then you do the ult and you get special planets. When you do the ult, you get the full moon. And basically that's the gist of it. And you get more and better planets on your inside, and on P1 you get another +1 limit. Instead of having 3 planets, you have 4 planets, which is unfortunate that there is we're getting the portraits with big value in it. At least it's P1, I guess. So Black Dwarf, it's a strong unit, but I wouldn't go for Black Dwarf if you don't need mineral. I would only go for Black Dwarf if you like her, or if you need mineral afflatus coverage, or if you have Eternity, don't pull for Black Dwarf. You have Eternity, just use Eternity. If you don't have Eternity and you have every other afflatus covered, then still don't go for Black Dwarf. It's not gonna change anything if you don't have afflatus of one coverage of one element. Okay, one afflatus. Oh my God, who am I? It's fine. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Yes, it's annoying, but are you gonna use your hard-earned free-to-play gems for it? No, right? So moving on, but you could get Black Dwarf if you are lacking DPSs and you have a lot of supports and you're lacking DPSs and you're lacking afflatus coverage. You have like only let's say you only have Lilia and Jessica, right? Then Black Dwarf could be an option. Sure, it's gonna be tight if you have after you got Jessica, if you get in Jessica. But if you have someone else, like if you have Druvis and Lilia, let's say Druvis or Regulus, Druvis or Centurion, or Melania, at that point, if you have only two, then maybe a third one would be nice. Black Dwarf is really strong, but the fact that you're missing one planet limit from your portrait, it's a little annoying, I'm not gonna lie, but still it's a unit that you should be picking up if you need a burst DPS. She's really good. It's gonna hurt not having P1, but it is what it is. 37 on the other hand, it's a skippable unit in my opinion. She is strong. She's the only unit for now that can crit on Genesis damage, and the problem with 37 is that if you don't buy again, if you don't get the portraits 3 and 5, I believe. Let's check. If you don't get them, she's not going to be able to do their follow-up attack too much. Unless you pair her with Lilia or... Let me see. Yeah, it's 3 and 5. 3 and 5. You need to pair her with Lilia or someone that does an extra attack. When they do an extra attack, for example, Lilia and New Babel, she gets +1 Eureka. Once you get her to +5 Eureka, she automatically triggers the follow-up damage, which is an AoE Genesis damage, which is pretty good, and an I3 she can crit it. But she's not a main DPS. You need to put her as a secondary DPS because she's going to attack only... She's going to do the ult, and she's going to attack when she gets max Eureka, which is completely reliant on, if you don't want to use her cards, completely reliant on the other characters doing follow-ups, right? So it's a very, very niche and optional character in my opinion. So skipping this character is not gonna destroy your account. So as a free-to-play, if you need a star coverage, sadly 37 is not one of it. You might want to go for Charlie, even P0. As you can see here, they even say the Charlie is A at P0. P0 is fine if you don't have anyone else. And then if you have Lilia or Regulus, good, use those. Otherwise, use Charlie. If you don't have Charlie, then you're gonna have to skip you don't have the star coverage at that point. Okay, you shouldn't pick up 37 for the elemental coverage, for the afflatus coverage, but only because you want to do the follow-up meme. Okay, moving on, the character that I think has the most value is 6. The thing with 6 is that he's extremely powerful. Like, he does a lot of damage on his ult, and he stacks 75% for every debuff on the enemy, up to 4, so it gets to 1000% mental damage if Eureka is at 6 or more stacks. So it builds Eureka by just existing, right? And at the end of the round, if any allies are affected by 4 or more buffs, all allies, any, right? So it sums, like, okay, 2 here, 1 here, 1 here, 4, boom. Okay, you get a Eureka +1. So it's very, very easy to get Eureka stacks on him. You don't really need the portraits. The portraits only give you a lot of damage stacks on their ult, besides P2, but P2 is like irrelevant, right? Sure, it's good power, but you don't need it, right? It's one of those. Like, other characters function worse without it, but he is still insane at P0. So P2 makes him even better, but it's not something that, like, oh, the character doesn't work, right? It works wonderfully. So you have insane amount of debuffs, you have insane amount of buffs. He is also the only character for now that is able to target one ally and buff just that ally with incantation empowerment, which is what Annalie does. It levels up one of the card, but the one she has, it's random. With him, you can target your main DPS and make their cards more powerful and level up for 3 rounds, on top of a pool of a lot of buffs that you can do with the same card that you're using. So penetration 1 between penetration rating, additional might, mental defense, reality defense, cure 1, reflect 1, or the same applies with the debuff card and applies 2 effects between random between crit death, reality death, mental death, blind, disorient, laceration. Like, are you understanding what I'm saying here? Like, it's really his value is through the roof, in my opinion, for any account. So if you're a free to play and you're missing a lot of supports and you would like to get a big one, then 6 is a good choice. When it comes to 6 though, you don't really need him. Is a big unit that gives you a lot of value. The value overall is, in my opinion, is 6 into Black Dwarf, into Shamane, into 37. That's the order, in my opinion. If I had to include Spathodia in it, I would probably get in it. I would probably do Spathodia. I would probably do like Spathodia 6 at the same time because it has value. She's an extremely good DPS. She needs Ulu, but I mean, if you don't get Ulu, maybe it's a notch below 6. It's gonna be harder to do your setup. But it's probably on par with 6 when it comes to account value if you're missing a DPS, and especially beast DPS. And then it's going to be, so like 6 Spathodia, Black Dwarf, Shamane, 37, okay? If I had to include Jessica, then it's going to be 6 Spathodia, no, it's going to be Jessica, 6 Spathodia if you have Sotheby. Jessica, 6 Spathodia. If you don't have Sotheby, it's 6 Spathodia, Jessica. Actually, no. 6 Spathodia, Black Dwarf, Shamane, Jessica 37. Or Jessica, Shamane 37. Like this, okay? So, hopefully I helped you understand a little more what's the value of these characters. Sorry for the kind of long video. Feel free to skip through. I don't really care. If you don't like long video, just don't watch the video. When you see 21, just click off, okay? So, if you made it here, comment like Spathodia punches you in the face with the asterisk. Comment that if you made it here. Type like asterisk Spathodia punches you in the face, and with another asterisk. Okay, like it's an action. Let's get a role play action. Okay, comment that. So thank you for watching, guys. Let me know. I don't know. I'm gonna make another video tomorrow about 1.5. We're gonna talk about that more in depth. And for now, thank you for watching and see you next time.